Hello, hello, hello. I am the Bible Mensch. Today I'm going to talk about the name of God. So let's get to it. So in the Old Testament, what Christians call the Old Testament, and if you watched my previous video, you'll know this, that Jewish people don't call it the Old Testament, they call it the Tanach. So in the Old Testament, or the Tanach, there are many words that are used for God in the Hebrew. Now, I'm only going to show you 3 today. There's actually more words, but let's just start with 3. So there's the first word. And also, too, just to let you know, in the original Hebrew, well, the original scrolls are lost. They don't have them. But in the scrolls and the manuscripts that they use now to make our Bibles, regardless of whether it's a Jewish Bible or a Christian Bible, the Old Testament, of course, the Old Testament or the Tanakh is written in Hebrew, but there's no vowels in the Hebrew language. The Hebrew language is all consonants. And if you go and buy a Hebrew Bible today, or if you go online to read a Hebrew Bible, you're going to see these dots, these marks, and there's a technical word for them, and I don't remember what it is. Okay, but these are the vowels, but these were inserted in because there's no vowels in Hebrew. So in the actual manuscripts, these are not there. But these vowels, like these little 2 little dots and this line with the thing going down and the dot on top, and see the dot on top there, and this line and these 2 little dots and this little thing in the dot, and these 5 dots here, and these 5 dots here, and this little dot and this little dot, these are the vowels. So these were added in to help readers pronounce the words. But like I said, in the manuscripts, these are not there. And if you live in Israel and you pick up an Israeli newspaper or a book, they don't have these vowels in there or these dots and markings in there. Like I said, these were added in. This word here is the main word for God in the Old Testament or in the Tanakh. And it's probably in there, I don't know, 3,000 times, 5,000 times. I really don't know. I'm just guessing. It's on pretty much every page or every other page. Okay, and this is the sacred name of God. And the pronunciation of it has been lost because there's no, like I said, in the manuscripts, there's no vowels. And for probably 1900 years or 1800 years, Hebrew was a dead language. And what I mean by that is that Hebrew was not a spoken language for many, many years, and it was not used because the Jews were kicked out of Israel in 70 AD, and they were scattered throughout the world. And wherever they went, they learned the language of that country. And Hebrew was only used for prayer books and praying. So this word here is on almost every page of the Tanakh or the Old Testament. And if you read it with the way the vowels are in there now, it would probably be pronounced Yehovah. Now, Jews will never pronounce that name. Even when that name is in their prayer book, that word is in their prayer book, they never, ever, ever pronounce it, even when they're praying. And actually, when they see this word, they say this word. In the prayer book, when an Orthodox Jew is praying in synagogue or at home and he's praying out of his prayer book, when he sees this word in his prayer book, he says this word, Adonai. But this word really does not mean the same as this word. So this word is the sacred name of God. And like I said, the way the vowels are there, I would say Yehovah, but, and that's where the Jehovah's Witnesses get their name from. Now you say, well, why would they do that if it's Jehovah? Because this word, this first letter is a Yud or a Y. So why are you saying Jehovah's Witnesses get their name out of that? What does that mean? Well, when you translate a Hebrew word with a yud or a y into English, it becomes a J. So, for instance, Yerushalayim becomes Jerusalem. Yeshua becomes Jesus. Yehoshua becomes Joshua. Okay? So the way the vowels are there, I would pronounce it Jehovah, and that's where the Jehovah's Witnesses get their name from. And that's why in their religion they call God Jehovah. Now, I'm not a Jehovah's Witness, I'm just explaining something. Okay? Now, Orthodox Jews and scholars say that nobody knows the correct pronunciation of that word, the name of God. They say it's been lost. And in the Jewish religion, that name is so sacred, you're never allowed to say it, not even when you're praying. And that's why when they see this name in a prayer book or in the Tanach or the Old Testament, they say this word, Adonai. This word is also in the Old Testament or the Tanakh. And, well, let's back up again. So when this word, what happened with the English Bible translations is that out of respect for Judaism and the Jewish scholars, going even way back to the King James Bible, believe it or not, what they did was when they were translating the Old Testament or the Tanakh, when they saw this word, they put it in all capitals. So you notice here, it's in all capitals. It's translated as Lord, and it's in all caps. When they see this word, Adonai, they translate it as Lord with the capital L, but the rest of the word is lower letters or non-capitals. And some Bibles will translate this as master because it also means master. It means master or Lord. Okay, so they translate it like that. And then, of course, this word is Elohim, and it's always translated as God. Even though the last two letters make it im, and anything with im is masculine plural. Okay? So really, you could translate this as gods, but most Bibles will translate it as God and without the S. Okay, so they make it singular. But really, anything with the im at the end is masculine plural. Now, there's other words in the Old Testament for God, other Hebrew words, and they're translated different ways. There's El Shaddai, there's Shaddai, which is translated usually as Almighty. And there's other words, my mind's blank right now, I can't think of it, but maybe I'll do another video about it one day. So right now, I have up Psalm chapter 2 from the Old Testament or the Tanakh, but it's from the King James Bible. So here, for instance, if you look, you see the word Lord, it's in all capitals. So that's the name of God, Jehovah. It comes from the Hebrew Jehovah. I'm not sure if that's the correct way to pronounce it. And like I said, Jewish people never pronounce it. But that's where it comes from. And see how it's in all caps? Now, if we go down to, here's another one. Now, actually, we could do a search, right? And in this particular Bible program, I use the Vim keys. If you don't know what that is, I'm not going to explain it. So let's do cap Lord. There it is there. So you see, so there it is there. So we have Lord. And like I said, that comes from, on the Hebrew side, it's Jehovah or Yahweh. Some people seem to think Yahweh might be the correct way to pronounce it, but that's it there, the name of God. If we go to the next one, oops. And if we go to the next one, here it is down here. So if we go to the next one, here it is down here. Okay. So if we go to the next one, here it is here, Lord. And if we go to the next one, here it is here, serve the Lord with fear. Now, let's get rid of that. Let's do another search for this one, but without the caps. Well, the first word, sorry, without the caps. So the L in Lord will be capital, but the rest of the word will be non-capped. Okay, and there it is right there. So he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. So this word is not the name of God. So you can see it has a capital L, but the O-R-D are small letters or non-caps. And that word is Adonai, which is this one here, right? So the other lords are this one. This one without the caps is this one. Let's clear the screen. Let's do, so here we have, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. So this word is Elohim, which is this one here. It's Elohim, and they translate it as God. Now, just to make it a little more confusing, sometimes you'll see God, the word God in the English Bible, you'll see it in all capitals, right? Like this. And when it's in all caps, on the Hebrew side, it's actually this word, Jehovah. When it's written like this, it's on the Hebrew side, it's Elohim. But when you see it like this, it's actually on the Hebrew side, it's Jehovah. And where that happens is in the prophetic book of Ezekiel, and it's in some other places as well. But off the top of my head, I don't know where they are, but I have seen them. But it happens a lot in the book of Ezekiel. So we see here in Genesis, see how it's spelled? G, capital G, small O-D. So that's Elohim. And here it is again. And it's like this throughout the whole Old Testament or the Tanach. So now we're in the book of Ezekiel, and you can see here, right at the top, it has Lord God. And look at it, it has Lord with the capital L, but the O-R-D are small or non-caps. And then it has God in all caps. And it's like this throughout the book of Ezekiel. There's another one, okay? Right here, right? And there's another one up here. And there's this one here. So it has Lord, and like I said, this is throughout the whole book of Ezekiel. This is Lord with capital L, O-R-D are small or non-caps, and God is all caps. Okay, so if we put, let's go, look at it here. It's up there at the top, it's there again, it's there again. It's throughout the whole book. Here it is here, Lord God. So what this means is that in the Hebrew, it's actually Adonai Jehovah, right? So they're saying Adonai, and they're translating it that way, which means Lord or Master. And then they're saying in the Hebrew, it's Jehovah, but they're typing it in as God with all caps. So of course, that makes it all a little more confusing. But as a general rule, when you see the word like this, on the Hebrew side, it's Adonai, which means Lord or Master. And when you see it like this in all caps, or like this in all caps, it's Jehovah. It's the sacred name of God. And like I said, the pronunciation's been lost, and religious Jews never pronounce that word. And that's it. In this video, I talked about some of the different Hebrew words for God in the Tanach, or as Christians call it, the Old Testament, and how they're translated into English. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Until next time. I am the Bible Mitch.